communist revolution in Cuba. They did the same exact thing. Their record is exactly the same. Castro, if you look at what Castro said, what Vladimir Lenin said, what Hugo Chavez said, Che Guevara, they all said exactly, very similar to what Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, AOC, all these different, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, they are saying almost exactly the same thing. They're dividing us amongst, within groups, based on our group's color, race, intersectionality, right? Identity politics. They're attacking the church, right? And they're attacking the wealthy. It's the same playbook. And if we're not careful, we're going to go right down that road. And before you realize it, we're going to look up and we're going to be in that. And it's not just going to be somewhere, and I don't like the new sphere, but I'm just giving you the truth. We're going to look up, and it's not just going to be in Seattle. It's not just going to be in Atlanta. It's not just going to be in Kenosha. It's not just going to be in New York. It's going to be here, in your backyard, down your street. We have to understand this is not just a movement for social justice. This is not a movement to help keep better people's lives. This is a movement to tear our country apart and institute something that we don't want, which is socialism and communism.
Because it's so important that we understand that it's a communist one-world order, unelected bunch of bureaucrats somewhere on the globe, that all this, when you boil it down, is absolutely about. Okay? America is a big country. It alone stands in the way of a globalist one-world order. And I want to get religious on you, but warned about in Revelation, which will lead to a beast. And the Christians should not be voting to pave the way for that beast, for a bribe of the pittance of a bowl of rice a day to live generationally off the back of their struggling middle-class neighbor while able-bodied. And we have a lot of that going on. Okay? Now what we've got to do is we've got to understand, we've got to love each other. We've got to love each other. There's race baiting going on. It's not that they like black or they don't like white. Neither one. The 90% of the mainstream media wants a globalist one world order. Okay? And America stands in the way. There's a few other free countries, but we're the bastion of freedom in this world, America. And if we fall, that communist one world order, UN leans that way, European Union leans that way. They've been threatening Trump already. The UN's like, oh, you get it together, we're going to send our stuff over there and do what we think should be done in your country. I don't know if you know that, but a threat happened to Trump during the riots. But I digress here. I want to talk about fact-checking the fact-checkers. Okay? I watched the debate, and they must have had people doing their little Yahoo articles during the debate. You know, they were all ready, man. I went to bed an hour after the debate, and I read a detailed article that said it fact-checked the debate.
yes. Donald Trump is not saying that if you want to have a transgender surgery, you can't have one. He's not saying there's no hatred. There's no hatred. There's no bigotry against the LGBTQ community. That does not exist. The Republican Party, within the Republican Party, the Republican Party has evolved to a place where we don't, things have changed in the last 150 years. And the Democrat Party is no longer what it used to be either. And that needs to be recognized. But the Republican Party is just saying, live and let live. Don't force your ways on us. And we won't force our ways on you. If you would like to go change your sex, this is a free country. But do not expect me to pay for it.
Right.
We do not want tax dollars paying for 7-year-old children who aren't even old enough to decide if they want to do ballet or soccer yet, or if they like, chocolate ice cream. No, palates change. I didn't like cottage cheese when I was 6. I love it now. Things change. So when you have taxpayers being forced to pay for 7, 8, 9-year-olds to decide what gender they want to be because one day they were drawn to the color pink, oh, they must be a different gender. That's not okay. That is forcing the beliefs and an ideology on people who do not align with those beliefs and ideology. And by the way, children who did transfer their gender in the early 2000s, who are now grown, many of them are going through serious mental illness and challenges because they realize now they were too young, they didn't know what they wanted, and now they're trapped in a body they don't feel natural in. And so when their brains are not fully developed yet, and they're not able to make those kinds of adult decisions, they certainly shouldn't be making them, and we shouldn't be required to pay for it. That is what Republicans are saying. Please.
I just want to finish what I was saying. During the debate, we're all sitting there, the people are watching with me, and we're going, oh, that's not true. Well, we're fact checking the whole thing while we're watching it. Oh, that's not true. Good. True, Trump. Way to go. Right. Okay, so this is our honest opinion, right? So when I read this quote, liberal, secular, Marxist, fact-checking session of the mainstream media an hour later, let me give you one little tiny example of what they did to Trump, because I'm just remembering this, okay? Trump said that the windmills are killing all the birds, okay? They go, all the birds? All the birds? False. False. Fact check. False. Not all the birds. And then they go, and besides, cats kill more birds than the windmills, so double false. Okay? And this is the kind of trickery that's going on. And that's all.
I would like to add what you were just talking about. They're implementing this kind of stuff in the schools. I know people that were highly intelligent in high school. They get to a university and they all jacked up. They're all jacked up. I mean, they're voting. It used to be this way, and now they're brainwashed into this liberal mentality. It's like, I don't even know you anymore. I'm like, if you really hate this country, bro, man, I should start a moving service because I be rich. I'm like, you don't like it here? Come on, you can go ahead and bounce. Nobody ever told you you could stay. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're trying to make enough money, with that little job you got with that degree. But you can make enough money and you can pay me so I can help you move. It's literally sickening because they're not even just implementing it in colleges. They're implementing in core curriculums. You take God out of school, you take Bibles out of school, this is exactly what you're getting. You're running this godless society where God's not important, where you can't even say the name of Jesus in public places. I am actually glad that there was a video. I don't know if anybody saw it, but Trump was like, they say, President Trump, you're the most famous person. He's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. He's like, yes, you are. He's like, no, I'm not. He's like, then who is? He's like, Jesus Christ. And I'm proud that he actually said that because that verified with me, here is a man that has given up his $1 billion lifestyle. He didn't have to. He's doing this for free. But because he loves his nation, and he's talked about it for decades, since the 80s. He was interviewed, he's like, would you ever run for president? He's like, no, probably not. Unless he needed it. Exactly. 2016 rolls around. Donald Trump is running for president. But it's just, it's sad that our kids and teens that are growing up in this era are taught to hate this country, taught to hate our history. History is supposed to be something that you're learning from, not trying to dispose of or waste away, because eventually you're going to repeat that. So that's pretty much what insanity, doing the same things over and over. So if you're trying to raise something that you didn't like, I'm like, well, how can we learn from that? So let's hope that we start pressing this country in the right direction where it needs to be, where we're getting that information out.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what we're talking about, it's an attack not just politically, but socially. And so Trump said, is it on? Yeah, oh sorry, I'm just not that close to it. I don't want to be too loud. So Trump actually said it in the debate last night. He looked right at Joe Biden and said, you know what, Joe? You're the reason why I ran for president.
Yeah.
You and Obama are the reason why I ran for president in 2000. If you hadn't done such a terrible job, I wouldn't be here right now.
His life would be a lot more.
And he said that, and I wouldn't have to be dealing with all this stuff. But because you did such a terrible job, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And what you need to understand is, the attack it's time for us to take back our country and to instill the values that made our country
Yeah.
great. That's what Make America means. Make America Great Again means. Because we need to take our country back to what it was. Listen, I told my story before. I was a Bernie bro, okay? I was the furthest thing from a conservative, but you can possibly imagine. I was for free healthcare, free education, everything. I was for it all. No cash bail, almost open borders. I was for it all. And then I realized the lie. And I started going down the rabbit hole. And I started picking up on things. And then things started attacking. Because I was a Christian. I went to churches. My pastor said, yeah, support your president. Pray for your president. But then when Trump became president, there were no more praying for him. There was no more praying for him. There was no more talking about him. There was no more encouraging him. Nothing. You couldn't even mention Trump in some of the churches I went to.
Yeah.
Because if you did, you got a funny look. Oh, we don't want to talk about politics. We want to keep that part quiet. But that's because that's where our country is going. It's been a process of demoralization, of breaking down the moral values of our country. And I started to see it, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not cool with a guy dressed, and again, I don't have anything against anybody for their own personal beliefs, their own personal preferences, or anything like that. Whatever you want to label yourself as, I'm cool with that. That's fine. Don't force it on me and everyone else. And I started seeing stories of transgender men or women sitting in a transgender man, so a man who wants to be a transgender woman, a man who wants to be a woman, or identifies as a sorry, I'm so confused, I can't really figure it out. But a story of a man in a dress sitting in a library talking to children. Drag queen story of it. A man with a goat head and goat makeup on with horns and a dress talking to little kids. And I went, what? Whoa, hold on, wait a minute. That's not okay. I started listening to my 15-year-old sister and the things she was telling me, her teachers were telling her. And my 13-year-old sister, well, they weren't 13 at the time, but they were younger, and the things that the school curriculum, I'm a history guy. I was reading our history homework and going, whoa, wait a minute. When did it change to that? When did we start talking about that? When did we stop talking about this? And you have to understand, they're trying to tear our not just our country apart, but they're trying to indoctrinate our youth, our country, to believe these lies and these falsehoods, and you can be whatever you want to be. Today you can be a cup, tomorrow you can be a butterfly, you can be cosmic energy, you can be a zebra.
And everyone better address you as such, or
may not be for everybody, but the people here in this panel, and I'm assuming most of you in this room, and hopefully some of you online, come to understand that I don't like doing this. I get nervous talking in front of people. I'm shaking right now having this conversation. Lori doesn't like doing it. Right? We didn't want to start posting this kind of content. Charlize didn't want to start posting. We have been ostracized in every which way that you can imagine. Kicked out of our churches, losing friends, losing business. I'm a barber. I've lost so many clients because of my conservative beliefs. But I remember the day when I said, I gotta do this. I was sitting at home with my girlfriend and I said, I gotta do this because I can't just sit here and ignore and not talk about it and not do something about it. Because I want to be able to look at my kids and my grandkids and even my little niece and say, I did everything I could to make this country a better place for you so you didn't have to live in a place where you were using the bathroom as a little girl and some dude walks in and he's like, oh, I identify as a woman. No, man, no. Or where they're encouraging or advocating for kids to be taken out of their parents' home and out of their parents' custody if their child expresses that they have feminine feelings or masculine feelings and the parents don't jump on it and say, hey, we're going to make you a boy, we're going to make you a girl. You have to understand, we're moving in a crazy direction.
Yeah.
It's time for us as people to stand up. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you're a Republican or not, because again, I don't necessarily identify as Republican. I'm a little more of a libertarian myself. But I'm going to choose to support Donald Trump for president for 4 years because I know he's moving us in the right direction rather than moving us down this path of destruction, demoralization, and just whatever goes, whatever I say, or whatever I want goes. That's why we do what we do. And I encourage you guys to do the same. Go out and vote in person, with your mask on or with your mask off, whatever they require you to do, but go in there, get on that ballot box, and lock your ballot in person so there can be no mistake, no deception, none of that stuff.
Yes, a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for America. It's a vote for freedom of speech. It's a vote for freedom of religion. It's a vote for live and let live in the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's a vote for protecting our history from being erased so that we don't repeat it. And I would motion to say that the reason the Democrat Party would advocate for our history to be destroyed is because they would like to rewrite it.
Yeah.
And they want the possibility of it being repeated, but against the side that they disagree with. And so we really got to understand what we're voting for. It's not Biden against Trump. It's freedom against socialism. It's freedom against communism. And we have to recognize that. Actions speak louder than words. You might not like some of his tweets, but look at the policies, the legislation he's passed, the executive orders he's signed for Native Americans who were waiting on these changes for decades, and Donald Trump came through, and the media hasn't said a word about it. 1,000 things like that he's done, that this administration has worked hard for and accomplished so much in just a few years. And so, can someone give me a time check very quickly? What time is it?
Almost 9.
Okay, we're going to take the next 3 to 5 minutes and briefly cover the Black Lives Matter organization. We're going to talk about that for a moment. And then after that, guys, we're going to close in prayer. And I would like to encourage you, there's an awesome merchandise table in the back. Get some great gear. Those flags we were waving proudly out there, we bought that from these fine people. And it's been awesome. I got t-shirts last time. Some of us got t-shirts. Just support them, guys. They're amazing. And they are with Black Voices for Trump. And they are doing incredible things for truth and facts in South Florida. We love them so much. And so...
Shalique, we've got a comment, question here. Do you mind?
Excellent, please.
Nobody knows me here.
Hi.
I'm from Fort Lauderdale. I actually Roger Stone is actually a customer of mine.
Can you hold the microphone closer to your mouth there?
Roger is actually a customer of mine, and I wasn't really paying attention to politics at all. I was just a cool guy for a lot of it, that's all I was. And then I show up at his house one day, and there's like massive amounts of FBI and CIA and cameras and people taking pictures and like, are you the pool guy here? Do you know this guy? And I'm like, yeah, so I started looking into things, and that's kind of what, I guess, like the red pill that people take or whatever. And I immediately, because I was like, I gotta fight this. Like, everything that was happening was so wrong. So I joined the GOP in Fort Lauderdale. And I did some events and I did some rallies that they had. I went to a Blexit event. I don't know if you were there. In like Oakland or whatever. Yeah. And we actually helped like endorse that event, like make it happen or whatever. And I didn't really see a lot like happening through the GOP. I mean, they do a lot of knocking on doors and getting people to register to vote. But with the COVID thing that happened, I figured that we needed to do more because of the masks and mandates. And I started looking into the mayors, the local mayors and the city council, and those are the problem. Rex Harden,
What's the name? Dean?
oh man, Tarantula or whatever. Well, so I personally decided that I wanted to go for them, you know, because like the way to make a change locally, right? But the GOP really isn't headed that direction. No offense, I love the GOP. There's a guy named Luck. He's part of Lauderdale. He's a great guy. So anyways, I just want to kind of get to the point here. I joined Chris with reopenSouthFlorida.org to kind of like start doing a lot more protests and rallies. I don't know if y'all know or not. And we meet at this Target one night, right? And I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no idea. And this video ends up going like mega viral. We got like 70 million views. And like, look, I had this Facebook page for 13 years, right? Pictures of my sister that's passed away, my dad that's passed away, videos for me for like, I had about 2,000, maybe 3,000 angry leftists to send on my page, and I'm telling you the worst things that you could ever say to somebody, like, burn my house down and bury me underneath it, right? Now, after I took that for about 2 weeks, then Facebook just deleted my account. And now I see exactly how bad the censorship is, because I couldn't even fight back, right? Like, when somebody said that they're gonna burn my house down with me underneath it, and I say something like, dude, you know, I honor my Second Amendment, that's hate speech. Well, what I said was hate speech, not the dude saying he's gonna burn my house down. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, like, I think I'm gonna start branching out here more. And I think I'm going to get people from Fort Lauderdale to be coming out here, because I've noticed like a lot of people from West Palm Beach actually come to our, that's where I met him. Like a lot of people from here actually come to Fort Lauderdale. So I'm going to get people from Fort Lauderdale to start coming here. And I think on Saturday, in Delray, Atlantic Avenue, on Saturday tomorrow we're having a big freedom rally. It's going to be at the Atlantic Avenue Pavilion. There'll be a lot of speakers. It's going to be a big event. A mask burning. If anybody wants to go, it'd be great. So I just kind of want to introduce myself. Y'all will probably see me around here more, and I'll definitely be coming here.
So a couple quick things. My name is Mark. I've been on the I've been on the front lines all week with a loudspeaker at the polls. Something to mention real quick that he was mentioning about the city of Fort Lauderdale. They had closed the beaches down here. And then what happened was they had made the decision, we're going to open the beaches, but you cannot be on the sand, you can't lay out, you can't have, you have to go from the car to the water and the water to the car. You cannot lay on the sand, you can't. So there was a video on April 23rd, the White House announced research from Fort Detrick, Maryland, and you can easily see it on YouTube. It's a 1 minute 50-second video. It says, the virus cannot survive 90 seconds of direct sunlight. So I said, whatever they're doing is not based on science. So I emailed not only the mayor and all the commissioners of Fort Lauderdale and all of Broward County, but I said, I'm going to embarrass them and shove it in their face to every department head, the recreation departments, the water departments, everybody, and say, look, here's the video link to the science. You give me your science on why you're saying no one can congregate on the beach. The very next day, they changed the rule, which was amazing. So I said, wow, it really number one. Number two, fact checkers were created by big tech and big media to control the narrative. Okay, we all know that. Third, you had mentioned about transgender. John Hopkins was the first hospital to do transgender surgeries. They did them for 10 or 20 years, and they also followed up with all their patients. And they said, you know, we want the best for our patients. We love them, we want what's best for them. And they found after 20 years that the suicide rate before and after surgery was still 4 times higher than heterosexual, whether it was before surgery or after surgery. So John Hopkins quit doing transsexual surgeries for a period of time until that administration had moved on, and then a new administration came in and they started doing them again. Okay, so those are 3 points I just wanted to make you guys aware of. But just to not tell you too much, I got to tell you what happened in the last week. I've been at the polling, Southwest Library in Pembroke Pines, long lines, literally at 7 in the morning, the first 3 mornings there was a line that probably went about 4 blocks, okay? In the rain, people with their umbrellas. I have a loudspeaker, so I kind of got like a DJ mode going, and I have all my talking points, and they're super effective because I start off with an American song, God Bless America, how can it offend anybody? And then I don't go on the far right, but I explain to people, look, I wasn't a Trump supporter in 2016. I was out there pounding Hillary Clinton, the fact that we had spent $500 million investigating this woman for all these years, and she's still being investigated. But I never said anything about him, but I said after 4 years of actions, and I focus on actions, every demographic group in America, you don't know this because there's 5 major media, there are 5 corporations that are worldwide and no allegiance to the United States of America that are controlling our 10,000 media outlets. And they're not going to tell you what's really happening. And I'm going to tell you that in 47 months, Donald Trump has done more than Joe Biden in 47 years. And there are 20 songs in my phone I'm going to play for you today that the American people that have been inspired to write and produce and sing from every demographic in the country. Rap songs, country songs, Latino songs, you know, you name it, you're going to be hearing it while you're waiting in line. And so, you know, when in 47 years have you heard of somebody inspired to write a song for this guy, Joe Biden? Or even in 8 years, I tried to look up an Obama song. I couldn't find one even